This video is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research.
From UFOs to weird things we know, it's time for that paranormal, strange, phenomenal show. Biometric wars, a prison planet run by the man. It's time for the Tinfoil Canadian. Take off your hose!
Hey there, fellow foilers, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Tinfoil Canadian, the show that tries to expose the truth and help us to progress as a whole in doing so, eh? On today's episode, we dive deep into the question, are we under constant biometric attack?
Biometric. Biometric technology has the potential to provide enhanced security and convenience, but it also carries significant risks. Biometric data is highly sensitive and personal, making it vulnerable to privacy breaches and identity theft. Biometric authentication systems are not foolproof and can produce inaccurate results, leading to either denied or unauthorized access. Additionally, biased or incomplete data can perpetuate discrimination and systemic inequalities. The lack of regulation and standards further compounds the risks associated with biometric technology. It is imperative to carefully consider and address these concerns through effective regulation, privacy protection, and robust security measures to ensure ethical and responsible use.
Well, now that we know what biometrics are, let's see why else they could pose a real problem for humanity as a whole. Do you use biometrics other than your phone? You may be giving away your biometric data without even knowing it, eh?
Summer 2015, a handful of people in Hong Kong, rushing through the subway or waiting for the bus, were faced with life-sized, most wanted portraits of their own faces. These people were not criminals or terrorists fleeing from justice. So why were their faces plastered all over these billboards? Turns out the posters were not photographs, but close likenesses of the individuals' faces generated by a computer. How were they made? The creators of the posters had gone out and picked up DNA left behind on bits of litter around the city. Cigarette butts, chewing gum, chocolate wrappers, and run it through a special software. The software used their DNA to recreate the faces of the litterers. The posters were then printed and distributed around the city to shame the litterers. Creepy as this sounds, this was not a mass surveillance operation. It was just a gimmick thought up by ad agency Ogilvy and Mather to bring attention to littering. But it also served as a vivid reminder to the public. Here's a taste of what private companies can unexpectedly find out about you by casually swiping your biological data. 5 years ago, I wrote a story for Wired magazine, where I began digging into what companies had found out about me by tracking my internet habits. I discovered that they had managed to dig up everything from my family circumstances to my weekend plans and my long-term ambitions. Today, this might not come as a huge surprise to you. This is because the business of tracking us around the internet has moved from the domain of obscure data brokers to that of the world's most well-known and valuable companies. Companies like Facebook, Google, Flipkart, and Amazon all trade in the currency of your data, while providing you with convenience, connectivity, and discounts. So in return, giving up your data seems like just a small sacrifice. The economics of data-driven services is simple. Every time you interact with an app, each click is logged and converted into a behavior. Together, these behaviors reveal unexpected things about you, like your tastes in books or music, your hobbies, your politics, the drugs you take, your beliefs. This is then packaged and sold on to retailers, insurers, banks, and many others. You are the product. going back to the Ogilvy ad campaign, your DNA is one of the most unique forms of data that you still own. It encodes your physical appearance, your personality, your biology. Combine this with other biological characteristics like your face, your voice, and your fingerprint, and together this becomes your most personalized data set, known as biometrics. It cannot be changed. Once shared, it points exactly back to you. If lost, it allows for irrevocable abuse. And just as we started giving away our behavioral data for free a decade ago, we are starting to do the same with our biological data. Your body is the new currency in the data market. So why does any of this matter? When our internet habits end up in the wrong hands, it can have an impact on unexpected events, ranging from the price of health insurance to university admissions or who wins an election. Your biometric data identifies you for life. It can even extend to identifying your descendants. This is already happening. Every day, like human guinea pigs, we are giving away our data to companies. Take Apple's Face ID, which uses facial recognition to unlock your smartphone and several apps within it. Then there's Facebook, which uses facial recognition to spot photos in the background of images, whether you're a Facebook user or not. This is hardly a fail-safe method. US scientists are able to reconstruct 3D images of a man's face just from his Facebook photos, and were able to fool 4 out of 5 facial recognition algorithms that they tested. Then there's your voice. How many of you own an Amazon Echo or Alexa speaker? So you should all know that these speakers, as well as those made by Google, for instance, can recognize your individual voice. Even startups like SayPay are using voice as a way to authenticate payments for their clients. Your voice can actually reveal some pretty unexpected details about you, like your height, your weight, your personal demographic, or your psychological state. It is already being used for criminal investigations. Samsung recently got into trouble when people found out that it had been secretly recording their voices via their smart TVs in their homes and sending these recordings over the internet, leaving it open to interceptors and hackers.
My voice is a clone of my actual voice because I was in a house fire and it is not strong enough to bring you live commentary. It seems to me that it would not be hard to clone someone's voice and use it to verify a stolen identity.
The biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. Number 9, we will turn off the jobs and benefits magnet. We will ensure that E-Verify is used to the fullest extent possible under existing law, and we will work with Congress to strengthen and expand its use across the country. Immigration law doesn't exist for the purpose of keeping criminals out. It exists to protect all aspects of American life: the work site, the welfare office, the education system, and everything else. That is why immigration limits are established in the first place. Number 10.
Of having this kind of identification in the hands of every man and woman and child on the planet by 2030. The Identification for Development, or ID4D initiative, was originally launched by the World Bank, and they are proud to be working side by side with the UN to get a legal identity into the hands of all. The following comes from the official website of the World Bank. Quote, providing legal identity for all, including birth registration, by 2030 is a target shared by the international community as part of the Sustainable Development Goals, Target 16.9. The World Bank Group, WBG, has launched the Identification for Development, or ID4D, cross-practice initiative.
Are you guys for or against digital ID with biometrics? I am not sure the benefits outweigh the negatives for it to become widely used. Seems to me like we do not get a say in the subject.
Alexa, do you work for the CIA?
No, I'm designed to protect your privacy. Your data is never shared with the government unless a request meets legal requirements and Amazon's policies. You can read Amazon's full privacy notice in the Legal and Compliance section of the Alexa app.
Alexa, what is the FBI's NGI database?
From biometricupdate.com. The FBI's Next Generation Identification System, NGIS, is a database that contains the biometrics data, fingerprints, eye scans, facial scans, and DNA samples of both criminals and non-criminals in the U.S.
Alexa, why was the NGIS database created?
From biometricupdate.com. The NGIS is often used to identify crime suspects, and while in past times the database was rarely used, with the emergence of modern biometrics authentication systems, the database's importance has grown tenfold because it also allows the FBI access to locked devices.
Alexa, how does the FBI use biometrics authentication systems to access devices?
From InfosysInstitute.com. Their mobile devices contain an optical-based fingerprint sensor which is connected to the AFIS databases maintained by the FBI, and a match can thus be conducted in real time.
Alexa, how does the NGIS collect biometric data?
From SNET.com. Known as the Next Generation Identification System, NGIS, the database draws in biometric data from passport registration, security checks, and judicial processing, such as if someone is arrested.
Alexa, why does the NGIS collect biometric data from non-criminals?
From Softpedia.com. NGIS also includes details from people that had at one point in time their fingerprint or iris scanned for jobs, security clearances, or licenses.
Alexa, how does the NGIS use social media to collect biometric data?
From monash.edu. By using the existing social media networks that participants and communities already use, such data collection processes can be conducted remotely, either through prompting for audio, video, or text responses.
Alexa, how does the NGIS collect photographs and voice recordings?
From thesecuritysign.com. Along with integrating information from the network of surveillance cameras installed across the country, NGI will also include DNA mapping, voice samples, photographs, palm and fingerprints, iris scans, scars, tattoos, and more.
Alexa, what government agencies have access to the NGIS?
From FBI.gov. The NGI IPS allows automated FR searches by authorized local, state, tribal, and federal law enforcement agencies.
Alexa, does the NGIS database use biometric information from other countries?
From SNET.com. The database also includes biometric records on foreigners, such as those who apply for visas, and foreign law enforcement staff.
Alexa, will the NGI be used for automated threat detection?
From CIO.com. NGI will include voice recognition, iris and retina scan data, facial recognition, DNA analysis, and more in an automated system designed to help law enforcement identify and capture suspects more efficiently and effectively.
NGIS sounds like the start of the computer system used in Minority Report. If devices are monitoring our brain waves, who knows how long it will be before just thinking something bad will become a crime.
This is for the people that will be thinking about something and not even say it, look at their phone, and what they were thinking about shows up on their phone. This is the patent for system and method for enhancing content using brain state data. The information over here says the current assignee is Interaxon Incorporated Worldwide Applications, and it is active, which means it's in use right now. How is this possible? Biosensors for brainwave data. Brainwave sensor. Abstract. A computer system or method may be provided for modulating content based on a person's brainwave data, including modifying presentation of digital content at least one computing device. The content may also be modulated based on a set of rules maintained by or accessible to the computer system. The content may also be modulated based on user input, including through receipt of a presentation control command that may be processed by the computer system of the present invention to modify presentation of content. Content may also be shared with associated brain state information. Classifications detecting physical presence or behavior of the user. Example given: using sensors to detect if the user is leaving the room or changes his face expression during a TV program. Input-only peripherals, i.e. input devices connected to specially adapted client devices. Example given: global positioning system biosensors. Example given: heat sensor for presence detection. Electroencephalography sensors or any limb activity sensors worn by the user. Monitoring a patient using a global network. Example given: telephone networks, internet. Evaluating the state of mind. Example given: depression, anxiety. Electroencephalography, EEG, input arrangements based on nervous system activity detection. Example given: brainwave, EEG detection. Electromyograms, EMG detection. Electrodermal response detection. ICT, specially adapted for the management or administration of healthcare resources or facilities. ICT, specially adapted for the management or operation of medical equipment or devices, for the operation of medical equipment or devices from remote operation. Synchronizing the rendering of multiple content streams or additional data on devices. Example given: synchronization of audio on a mobile phone with the video output on the TV screen. Like, check it, just look at these. Monitoring content usage. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Go ahead and pause and read these if you like. Cross-reference to related applications in the field of invention. The present invention relates to biosignal collection methods and systems that utilize biosignal data. This invention relates more particularly to visualization tools and methods. Background of the invention: biosignals are signals that are generated by biological beings that can be measured and monitored. Electroencephalographs, galvanometers, and electrocardiographs are examples of devices that are used to measure and monitor biosignals generated by humans. The human brain generates biosignals such as electrical patterns, which may be measured or monitored using an electroencephalogram, EEG. These electrical patterns or brainwaves are measured by devices such as EEG. Technically, an EEG will measure brainwaves in an analog form. Then, these brainwaves may be analyzed either in their original analog form or in a digital form after the analog to digital conversion. Measuring and analyzing biosignals such as brainwave patterns can have a variety of practical applications. For example, brain-computer interfaces have been developed that allows users to control devices and computers using brainwave signals. Various platforms exist for creating or capturing content and communicating this content either to the creator or the creator's audience. There is a need to improve the evocative nature or engaging nature of communication platforms and methods. This invention can determine your brain state in real time. And as this is happening, they can modify the content in real time. All of these things are in real time. If you want to pause, you can read that. Real-time advertising bidding is talking about rendering the content in real time. The audience watching the video may be also rendered around the video frame in real time. Crazy stuff. As you can see right here, it says the digital content presented may include live audio or video content. Can read all this. Pause. They use live brainwave algorithms. You can pause and read this. This is just crazy. Here is a good example. In a non-limiting example, educational or learning content may be provided by the computer system of the present invention, where the presentation of the content is modified based on the level of concentration or focus or other brain state experienced by the user, determined as described. Similarly, in another example, a feed of web-based content, example given a live or pre-recorded feed, may be changed based on user's brain state. You can pause and read more if you would like. Emo state editor, brain state, emo state. Like, just pause and like actually just click the link that I provide and check it out. Let's look at some of these cited by. Patent citations. As I scroll through, you can pause to read. We have universal integration and interaction of multiple technologies in the human signals method. Crazy. 391 cited by. Face recognition control and social networking. Yeah, you guys are gonna have to click it, look it up. Alright. You guys have a good one. I'm not gonna scroll through all of them, but just click it, look it up.
Well, now we all know how our phones are reading our brain waves. Remind me to turn my phone off at night so it is not reading and stealing my dreams, eh?
So you need to understand something, because every billionaire with a mission is building a part of a false body god. Elon with telepathy, Bill Gates with weather and ether control. Then we got Zuckerberg with being the social mirror in that hive mind simulation. Y'all know how it is on Facebook. And then Bezos, the bloodline of delivery, right? The nervous system's supply chain. And then OpenAI and Google with memory and knowledge control. They have all taken a sacred function of the human body and turned it into tech, right? But ain't none of them took the soul. And that is the Ethernet cable mimicry of fascia, the AI mimicry of intuition, and the Neuralink mimicry of telepathy. The human nervous system was the blueprint all along, right? They couldn't access the code from the outside, so they built tech to replicate it. Now, their external tech is literally hitting its limits, so now they're trying to come back inside the body to hijack what was native all along. You are watching a counterfeit version being assembled, and they are literally reconstructing the body of God without breath, without memory, and without song. But the real net is emotional. The true Wi-Fi is resonance. And you, my friend, you are a living firewall. And that is because we are the true carriers of the real network, right? The etheric internet, the somatic Wi-Fi, and the heart-field data stream. And that network, it only works in sovereign unity, not forced collectivism. So, if you can identify and reintegrate your emotions right, emotional intelligence, frequency literacy, you can take back control. You reclaim your signal because you are the firewall. So y'all, I am going to make a video breaking down each of these 5 billionaires, and of course this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. But I'm gonna make a video breaking down all 5 billionaires, right? Exactly what they've taken and how they are trying to weave it all together. So if you're ready for a deep dive, baby, stay tuned. All right, I'll see y'all in the comments. Later.
It is good to know there are some ways to protect ourselves from biometric attacks, besides going totally back to analog. We are the firewall. Well, that is all the time we have for this episode. Join us next week as we dive into the paranormal and unexplained. Until then, stay warm and be nice to your neighbor, eh?